Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday where we share words of wisdom. Please like, comment, share, and or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kalia Patton. Now, we're going to go on into our topic for today. Our topic for today is, it's just a flare-up. It's just a flare-up. All right, now, I think a lot of us know what flare-ups are. If we're in a certain age bracket, we may be dealing with some issues in our bodies that cause flare-ups. And flare-ups, if I could define it, I think I wrote down a few little things about it. Flare-ups are eruptions. They intensify and they become more intense. It could go on for weeks. It could go on for months. It could go on for a day or several hours. But it's just a flare-up. We're going to talk about it's just a flare-up. Now, when we're thinking about flare-ups, we're thinking about what actually triggers a flare-up. When people have arthritis, when people have lupus, when people have different autoimmune diseases, different stages of cancer, and all of these other issues that may go on in their bodies, they may have a flare-up. They may experience a flare-up. And during the flare-up is usually a worsening type of symptom. Is usually an intense type of pain or an intense type of what you call flare up. So during those times, people have to think of other ways to minimize the flare up, to minimize the pain, to minimize the aggravation or the inflammation or, the irritation. So, triggers. There are various triggers for flare-ups. When we think in terms of spiritually, when we think in terms of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis, we recognize flare-ups because we can identify with flare-ups. The reason why we're having flare-ups in the first place is because there's something that's going on inside of us that's familiar, or something that's going on in our environment that is familiar to us. We've been here before. We've been through this before. We can identify with where we are. So when the flare-up comes, it's a constant reminder of what we have encountered, what we have gone through, what we may have currently come out of. And it seemed like, whoa, I'm back at this place again. What is going on? And this pain that I feel is gut wrenching. It just hit me all of a sudden, and it's like it just took me off guard because I'm experiencing a flare up. I'm experiencing a flare up. I said, I've been here before. I know this place, but there's a worsening type of pain. There's a worsening type of trauma. There's a something that just hit me, and it just almost took the wind out of me. It took the drive out of me. It took the emotions out of me. It made my emotions go up and down. I'm confused. Where am I? I don't want to go down this same road again because I know this pain. I can identify with this pain, but it's at a level where what I did currently won't treat it. What I was doing to medicate myself or to alleviate the pain, it won't do it this time. Why? Because it's a flare-up. It's a flare-up. So look, it's revisiting me. Yes, I've been here before. Yes, I've experienced some trauma and I have experienced pain. But now this thing is revisiting me, much like when the enemy comes in your life, when Satan buffets you, when Satan causes things to happen, and God brings you out. He brings you through. He allows you to come out with a victory. And then here comes the enemy again after you have experienced your victory and you're praising your way through. Then there may be a flare up that's coming up. Maybe a week from now, maybe 2 months from now, maybe a year from now, but the flare up is coming. It's coming right around the corner. And so yes, I'm familiar with this place. Yes, it may be even generational, because guess what? When I was in my mother's house, when I was in my father's house, when I was with my family, and it has been some time ago, now we are revisiting this thing again. It's coming back. It's a flare up. Yes. Oh yeah. Sometimes the pain comes, the tears may come, the thoughts may come, the grief may come, the anger may come. These emotions may be going out of sorts here because I'm experiencing flare up. Here's the flare up. It's coming. Yes. And so, when Jesus was tempted, Satan came for a season. Then, after he came for a season, Jesus experienced his place of elevation, because God elevated him, because he went through and he came out. But then Satan is not done, because he's always going before the Father to accuse us of something that we've done. You see what I'm saying? And so God looks at this interchange. He looks at this interaction. He says, okay, you know what? I can benefit from this, because I want my daughter to grow up. I want my son to grow up. I want them to be matured. I want them to be elevated. So yes, I will entertain your idea, but the way I want to set it up, it's going to be for my glory. It's going to be for their elevation, and it's going to be for my glory. So yeah, let the flare-ups come. Let the flare-ups come. Yeah. But there are conditions to the flare-up. I'm just not going to allow you to do any and everything to my children. I'll allow a flare-up to come in their midst. I'll allow a flare-up to be stirred up, to be presented. But I will have my terms and conditions, because these are my children. See what I'm saying? And so, triggers. Let me talk about the triggers, because there are things that trigger flare-ups. Yeah, there are things that trigger flare-ups. Now, and one thing that triggers a flare-up could be people. Some people just get under your skin. Some people will just cause you to go somewhere that you didn't want to go. Will bring some out of you that you didn't think was in you. People, them good old people that you see, the people that you know, and then the other people. It can be any type of people, but we tend to do it more to ourselves, okay? When you really want to look at it. But they can trigger the flare-up. The people that are around you. Your environment can trigger flare-ups. You in certain types of environment that facilitate flare-ups. They draw out flare-ups. They develop flare-ups. And they are toxic types of environments. They are not conducive for you. They are not benefiting you in no way, shape, or form. But you're in these environments that causes flare-ups in your life. Another trigger could be the weather. And you know how the weather is, We're talking about seasons now. Seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall. We go through seasons in our life that can be wintry, springy, summery, and fally. You feel what I'm saying? And so those seasons can trigger. They can trigger flare-ups because with seasons, the temperature changes, the climate changes, things are changing. So as things are changing, climate's changing, weather patterns change, it can cause flare-ups. Notice when we move out of winter and we go into the springtime, allergy season hits, because guess what? Pollination's going on, all kind of stuff happening. All kind of stuff blowing, and people are getting Claritin, they're getting all kind of allergy medication. Why? Because the seasons have changed. It has triggered, the changing of the season has triggered flare-ups. See, we got to get to a place where we don't allow the conditions of environment, season, weather patterns, people, ministries, businesses to cause our flare-ups. We can't allow these things that are surrounding us to cause us to be flared up, that will trigger the flare-ups in our life. We can't allow it. Why? Because we already understand what they are. We already know what they've been designed to do. So then, yes, what worked for this condition that we're going through, what worked no longer works, because now this thing is intense now. It has presented itself to us and it's intense. So then our desire for God, our passion for him has to be intense. Our commitment to God has to be intense. Because what we don't want to do is run away from the very thing that we need to run to. You run to the one who is going to save you, who is going to redeem you, who is going to restore you, who is going to rebuild you, who is going to heal you, who is going to save you, who is going to deliver you from the flare-ups. You can't no longer walk in the way that you've been walking, thinking that you got this thing figured out, that you got it all under control. No. It's out of control right now. The flare-up is so intense. It has erupted. This thing has erupted like a volcano. No, you can't handle it. No. You can't put your hands in it. No, you need to run to the arms of your master, of your father, which is Jesus. You need to run to him, and we need to figure out, God, what must I do? What do I need to do in this season that I'm going through with these flare-ups? Because they're intense. I'm hurt. I'm grieving. I'm crying all times of night. Sometimes I don't even understand. The tears are rolling down. I don't even understand how these tears coming out of me, but it's just something bubbling up on the inside that's causing my emotions to go haywire. I'm experiencing flare-up. Now I got to find myself in my word more. I got to find myself trying to figure out, God, what needs to change in me so that I won't experience these flare-ups? But God, now I know that I'm experiencing the flare-ups. How can I medicate myself? How can I get the antidote that I need so that these flare-ups won't be so painful for me? That I won't go through all of this inflammation, all of this irritation, all of this agonizing, debilitating, because it gets me to the place I can't even function. I need your help. These are the times when you call unto God who is your ever-present help in the time of trouble. Because you in trouble right now. Because these flare-ups they ain't letting up. So you need help because you in trouble. Out of desperation, you crying out to God because you don't have nowhere else to turn. You don't have nowhere else to go. You've run out of all the options, including you, because you thought you were the answer. You're not the answer. It's just a flare-up. It's just a flare-up. But you need to go to the source that's going to provide you the relief from the flare-up. We know who he is, Jesus. We know who we run to. We know who we go to. We know he's the answer. So now my attitude needs to change. My posture needs to change. My posture would be more of getting down on my knees in prayer. My posture would be more of sacrificing during times when I don't want to. When this flesh don't want to do. When this flesh don't want to die. It says mortify. The Bible talks about mortifying the deeds of the flesh because the flesh don't profit us anything. Because the flesh stands in the way of your deliverance. The flesh stands in the way of what God wants to do inside of each and every one of us. Flesh gets in the way. Flesh is fickle. Change like the seasons. So you can't put your trust, you can't put your trust in your flesh. You can't put your trust in your emotions. They will fail you, but God never fails. He never fails. So it's just a flare-up. It's just a flare-up. You gonna be all right. You gonna come out of this because now your eyes have been enlightened. God is going to open up your eyes and your ears of understanding to realize where do you go? Where you need to go when the flare-ups come, because they're coming. They're coming. Yes, life happens to us all. We've experienced it. Many of us can attest to some flare-ups, and many of us may be dealing with flare-ups right now. We want to come out of it quickly because it's so intense. It's almost like we've been put in a skillet. And it's scalding and hot in there. Ooh, my God. We've been put in a boiling pot. Ooh, the temperature has risen. Oh, you can't hardly take it. But God said, I won't put no more on you than you can bear. I knew that you were designed to bear this. I just need you to see. I need you to know it. I'm taking you through it for a reason. Because I want you to come to the source. God needs us to come to him. He's the source. He's the answer. He's the answer to all life's problems. All of life's problems, he's the answer. He's been the answer all the time. But now, since we going through all this exposure, since we try to learn the truth,